This is Boxelder. This is one of the more ubiquitous trees in the area. This time of year it's pretty advantageous for its edibility. It's the young leaves here, the new sprouts that you can eat. It's the young and tender leaves that are edible. It's a little spicy, but it's not too bad. You can eat the small leaves, mix them into salads, things of that nature. They're a little bitter, but to mitigate the bitterness of most plants, you can either boil them or steam them or saute them, and that'll help neutralize the bitter taste. This tree right here is Arizona black walnut. This is another one of those ubiquitous trees in the riparian habitats. This is a younger variety, and it does produce edible walnuts later on in the year. It's an excellent source for the fatty acids and proteins. It's a really valuable wild food in this area. Another use for the walnut is the wood. The wood is very dense, and you can make various things out of it. You can make rabbit sticks, you can make hunting boomerangs, trap components, all kinds of things with this wood. This is a very, very nice tree to have in your locale. Right here we have a field of curly dock. Curly dock is an excellent wild food. It's great with wild salads. You can cook it as a wild spinach as well. By itself it is fairly bitter, so I would recommend cooking it, sauteing it, boiling it. Boiling takes out the bitter, so that's helpful for this plant. But you see it's just everywhere, so you can get a lot of this stuff and subsist on it pretty easily. This curly dock loves to grow in these low riparian areas, generally straight out of the water itself and along the banks. This is where you find curly dock. It's where it likes to be. Another key note is to go after the younger leaves, because even though this plant is naturally very bitter, the younger leaves are going to be less bitter than the more mature, larger leaves. This right here is Salix exigua. Salix exigua is also commonly known as Coyote Willow. Coyote Willow is another plant that grows heavily around large water sources. It primarily grows only in the water sources because of the nature of the plant. As you can see, it's very bendable, very, very flexible, making it a killer basketry material. But also, you notice the shoots of this plant are very straight. They naturally grow upright very nicely, making them ideal for arrows. And another use, the medicinal use of willow, really it's known as the Tylenol plant, because you can collect the cambium layer, the inner bark of this plant, and you can chew on it, and you can make a tea out of it to relieve toothaches, headaches, and any other types of head pain. So this is a very nice plant to know in your area. All of this behind me here is called wild rose. This is another really good plant to know. This is a younger patch of rose. Generally they can get up to 6 feet tall in some cases. And it's denser wood, which makes it really, really good for arrow making as they grow straight. Later on in the year we have things like rose hips. You can make those into teas, and you can also eat them as well. So it's a food source. It's a good source for teas and medicine, as well as arrow shafts. So all of this below me here is called Western Yarrow. This is another ubiquitous plant. It grows all over the world. And this is in this younger stages right now. It's springtime here in Arizona, and it is just starting to pop up. A very important use of this plant is the medicinal use. You can actually take the leaves and roll them up and pound them down into a poultice, apply it to deep wounds and cuts. It has natural antiseptic qualities. And the smell is just fantastic. You can also make a tea from this as well, and also apply it to wounds in a similar fashion. But this is a really, really powerful medicine to know in your local area, and it grows almost everywhere in the country and around the world. So this plant right here is called watercress. Of course, by the name, it grows in watery areas. It likes riparian habitats. And this is an excellent food source. It's spicy, it has a lot of flavor, and you can just eat it straight. It's wonderful. It almost has the same kind of spice as wasabi and other things like that. It's excellent as a salad topper, and you can put it in stews, you can dry it out and even use it as a seasoning on fish and other types of wild game. I think this is a fantastic plant, and it just grows in these large mats. You can see some is over here and over here, but we have a nice patch right here. This is a very good plant to know.